Hello, Tawanya. It's nice to meet you. You tell me a little bit about what's going on? You look like you're a little stressed.
Well, I've been told I need to talk to somebody, but I really don't think this counseling shit's gonna work for me.
Well, what's going on?
Well, I'm in a job that I just cannot stand. It's making me feel like I'm just totally worthless. I'm constantly depressed. Don't want to get out of bed. Don't want to get a shower. Don't want to spend time with my daughter or my husband. And I don't know what to do about it.
Okay. Well, for starters, thank you for making this appointment. I'm thrilled that you came into session today and you were open to talking to me about it, and hopefully we can work together and find some solutions. Okay.
Thank you.
So, when you talk about this job, um, it sounds like you've got a lot going on. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, the older I get, my memory is not like it used to be. And in this job, I'm learning a whole new level of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the insurance field, and I cannot retain anything. And it's driving me insane. We have like these little, tests that we have to take on modules and stuff, and I'm not passing them. It's like I'm not even myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just making me feel really worthless.
Mm. It sounds like you've got a little bit of test anxiety going on, and you get really stressed out when you're in those meetings. Can I ask if you're by yourself or are you around people?
Around people.
And how does that make you feel?
Like I'm rushed.
Okay.
I'm nervous. I can't concentrate whatsoever. I've even put headphones in, trying to quiet everything around me. But even if nobody's talking, I'm still hearing noise.
Okay.
But the whole thing is, it's getting me so depressed and down that, my day-to-day routine is just totally messed up. I don't even want to function in life.
So a lot of withdrawal and isolation.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me what it looks like what it might look like for your daughter or your husband? Like, do they worry about you or?
Constantly.
Okay.
My husband isn't as vocal about it as my daughter is. She is always worried about me. When she sees me depressed, she sees me without my hair fixed and without my makeup on and slouchy clothes and my husband, he loves me either way. So
right.
So he's not as vocal, but I can tell when my daughter is really, really worried about me. And she don't even have to say anything at the time.
Right. So before we get into these issues that you're going through and trying to work together to come up with a solution, I want to get to know you a little better. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your upbringing? Were you, raised from a single mother home? Did you have both parents at home? How did you get brought? How did you become yourself?
I was raised by a single mom.
Okay.
My dad ran out on me when I was about 12.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. I still suffer from that. My mother was a very, very strong woman.
Mm-hmm.
Very independent. So I was raised a lot in that aspect.
Okay.
One of the things she did that really wasn't positive was she sheltered me too much and didn't let me kind of do things on my own. So I was kind of spoiled, I guess. But as far as my upbringing, it was a very positive upbringing, especially in a single parent home.
Right.
So, but my mother was she was a manic depressive. So everything was negative to her.
Okay.
Her first reaction to anything was a negative response, not a positive. And I think I inherited that.
Okay. I'm hearing you say that you are acknowledging the translation between your mother's tendencies and your own. But I'm thrilled to hear you acknowledge that in the sense of you're here, you're wanting to learn skills to better yourself, and just kind of work together to make your life easier, because that's the point. That's the reason you're here.
I'm kind of scared if I don't know where I'm going to end up.
And as far as depression or
pulling away from everybody so much and being so isolated, in the depression, I don't want to get into a habit of not being present in the moment and enjoying myself.
right. So can we talk a little bit about okay, about what your miracle day would look like. So when we're talking about miracle days, we're talking about what is your idea of a perfect day? Like you're not depressed, you're not worried, you're not stressed, everything's just perfect in Tawanya's world. What would that day look like for you?
I would get out of bed and not feel like the whole world was on my shoulders.
I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
How would you, when you say the whole world's not on your shoulders, what would be different in your presentation?
I would get up, take a shower, energetically, put makeup on, dress, to where I would make myself feel good, fix my hair, look in the mirror and say, that I'm worth something. Today's going to be a good day, and I would believe it for once.
I'm glad to hear that. Have you given any extra thought, or is this the first time you've ever been questioned about your miracle day?
First time.
Okay. So when we talk about miracle days, what we're doing essentially is getting you back into that frame of positive thinking and futuristic thinking. We want you to think of, well, like I just said, the future. And we don't want you to be stuck in a pessimistic mindset or depression. And so I want to plant that seed of your miracle day so that in future sessions we can analyze that and start to make that a real thing. Like, work towards you getting up and showering and maybe curling your hair so that if your daughter shows up unexpected, you're not in pajamas and, hair on top of your head.
That would be nice to get to that point.
So I wanted to ask you, can you tell me about a time where when was the last time you weren't stressed, you weren't worried, you were just, it was a good day?
To be honest with you, I cannot remember the last time of one of those days.
Okay, so you mentioned being brought up in a good home.
Mm-hmm.
You had a good upbringing, and despite some mental challenges, depression and stuff, your mother had a very strong outlook on life and positive, and she worked hard to instill that in you. Is that correct?
Yes.
So tell me about a time in which you can remember from your childhood where your mom just took everything from you, like took all your worry, all your stress, she made it happen. And you didn't have to worry about anything. But when you came back home, everything was taken care of.
We moved to a different place when I was in 8th grade. And where we moved to it was horrendous. I mean, there was no way it was going to become a home. There was just no way. And a 13-year-old kid going around saying, smarty pants me with my mother, that I hate this place and blah, blah, blah. And she told me, she said, I want you to go with your friends, go uptown, have a good time. And she said, I promise when you come back tonight, later on, she said, this place will be a home. And I'll be darned if I didn't walk in that house later that evening and pictures were hung on the wall, beds were made, and it was a home.
I want to stay right here for a minute. Think back to that time and tell me, can you describe how you were feeling when you came home and had that relief? Like, oh my gosh, my mom did it again. And she just made it happen. Can you tell me exactly how you were feeling?
Very proud of my mom. Extremely proud. And kind of jealous, I guess, of her because I wanted to be that type of person that was that strong and that determined as she is. And I think I am. I just don't know how to proportion it into my life right now.
Okay. Well, that's, first, thank you for sharing that. That is definitely something that we can analyze in future sessions, and I'm sure you have already done an immaculate job.
Thank you. I hope so.
With your own child. Because I am seeing that you are showing strength, you're showing resilience, you're showing determination, because you didn't want to keep going, but you're here. And, I'm seeing all that stuff in you, but I want to get you back to feeling that way. So, what is some things that you have done or thought about doing from the moment you made this appointment to coming into session today? So, the idea of solution focused therapy is that there are changes in the client from the moment that they make the appointment to the day of their appointment. Like their wheels are turning, they're getting themselves ready to accept help, and maybe they're becoming more hopeful, or maybe they're optimistic of the future. Can you explain to me a little bit of if any of that's been going on, if you've been doing anything to kind of prepare or make changes, and if any of that's been working?
I've tried to keep myself open-minded and not be so negative on this not working. And I've tried to prepare myself, I guess, mentally to the point that I don't have to be depressed. And knowing that I can have somebody to talk to about it, I know is going to help me. I just have to accept the help. And I've been trying to talk myself up to accept that.
Well, that's good. Obviously it worked because you're here today. So, can you tell me, I'm hearing a lot of isolation and pull myself away. Do you have any friends? Like, what hobbies do you like to do? Do you like to hang out with any friends? Is there one special friend?
My favorite hobby is singing.
Okay.
I do have a special friend that she moved out of town when she got married, and I lost contact with her and kind of pulled myself away from her because she wasn't right here present.
Mm-hmm.
That I miss her a lot.
It sounds like, now how long have you known this friend?
Oh my gosh, since I was 10.
Oh wow, lots of memories.
Yeah, a whole lot
lots
of memories.
Lots of times together. Good ones, I hope.
Yes, very good. A lot of fun memories. I would like to get to a point where I can pick up the phone and say, hey, let's get together. Let's meet halfway in between our states and just maybe take a night and just have a girls' night.
Okay. And I want to ask you, thinking about that, how, when you mentioned earlier about your husband and your daughter and how they would tell it's your miracle day. If you picked up the phone and called your friend, what's her name?
Faith.
Okay, if you called Faith today, and she looks at the phone and she says, oh, it's Tawanya. And she picks up the phone and she goes, hey, Tawanya. And you had a surprise for her. how would she know it's your miracle day, not to worry about you, and that you're doing good?
She could definitely hear the smile on my face, for one thing.
Okay.
And I would just, the bubbliness, because she knows my voice when I'm really depressed. She knows my voice when I'm really happy. And it would just protrude through the phone. She would be able to tell that I'm okay and she don't have to worry about me anymore. Not for that day anyway, my miracle day.
Right. Okay. So in the next sessions, I want you to be thinking about things that you can do to work towards your miracle day. For instance, if you wake up and you have a shower, maybe you curl your hair and put on some makeup, or you make some extra time to go enjoy a cup of coffee with your husband or your daughter, and you just have that time to gather your thoughts, set up for the day, instead of rolling over out of bed and then coming in, getting in your car and coming into work. So I want you to be thinking in the next coming weeks, just kind of moving towards that. Maybe keep a log of how many, and like you said earlier, your daughter, often makes surprise visits, and she's apparently vocal about
very
your lack of effort. So maybe you get up and you get a shower and you curl your hair and put on makeup, and it doesn't matter if you have a visitor come or not, but you are making that step to where you're getting close to that miracle day. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
And in the coming week, let me look at my schedule and see when you're in here again. So you are actually in here a week and a half from now.
Okay.
So in the next week and a half, I want you to log any step you made towards your miracle day.
Okay.
If you got up and showered and you put mascara on, or maybe you put some lip gloss on, or maybe you just styled your hair that day, I want you to log that.
Okay.
And we will bring it in here next week, and we will go through and see the progress you've made, because you've already started. I can tell your wheels are turning, and I can tell that you have those like qualities that your mother had, that she tries so hard to instill in you, and you do. But I want to work a little bit more on making you believe that you do.
That would be nice.
So
I think I'm gonna possibly call my friend Faith.
Okay.
I think that'll help me mentally to start.
Okay.
That'll be a good start for me.
Yeah.
And just kind of shoot the breeze, not talk about the bad stuff, and
change the atmosphere of the conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I'll start there.
You know what? I think that sounds like a good goal for you. So why don't we make that your homework, and you will make a log of the small steps you make towards your miracle day that we discussed today.
Okay.
And we will review, and you can work on sometime within the next week and a half. You can work on, reaching out to Faith, rekindling that relationship, and maybe even you all can make plans, and that'll give you something to look forward to.
Sounds good. Sounds
like
a good start.
And then we can work together in the coming sessions to set future goals.
I appreciate that, and I have to say this has helped already.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear it.
This gave me a more positive outlook.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We are we're making steps, and I'm very proud of you for coming in, and thank you for sharing. And I look forward to working with you in the future. Okay, Tawanya?
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye.